Flagler Credit Union with Christian Cat, Mike Rizzo, and Colin Russo. One, I'm surprised that did not make the cut. Maybe I'm a bit of a homer for my team in this sense. But the A's played their first game in that minor league ballpark yesterday. They lost 18-3.
It should have.
Yeah, they lost 18-3, and they did post-game. You should look up the picture. They did post-game press conferences in an aluminum shed, one that you will see in the backyard of a suburban family's house. And it was one of those sheds, and that's where they did post-game availability. It was a disgrace.
Hang on. The actual game, and I'll even say this for Tampa Bay, bro, it's sick. Like, watching on the broadcast, it's like it's not a seat to be had.
Nope.
Christian, not a seat to be had.
It didn't even break 10,000 people didn't show up yesterday.
Not a seat to be had from the looks of it.
10,000 people did not show up, and it was empty by the sixth inning. Well, they were down, 19-3. Yeah. But, I mean, the point being, it was a laughing stock of a first game. The Rays, there was some. I agree with that. There was some juice there, the whole thing at George Steinbrenner Field. But the A's, with how they handled everything, with the post-game press conferences and the Lawrence Butler saying this feels like a minor league park, I don't like it. Half the people filing out of there, getting people in the seats, losing 18-3 in your home opener. How about
makes me sick. How about baseball? You want runs, Christian? You want runs?
Uh-huh.
That was your night last night. 18 runs for the Cubbies, 9 runs for the Tigers, 14 runs for the Reds, 10 runs for the Mets, 8 runs for the Orioles, 9 runs for the White Sox, 11 runs for the Royals. That was your night of baseball. If you wanted home runs, you wanted some pop, you should have tuned in to MLB Big Inning last night.
Ridiculous. I don't know. What are you going? Rob Manfred went wax poetic a couple years ago about, hey, we're not going to shift another team out of their respective city until something is built, until something is built and something is steady, and we know where we're going to place them. But instead, after the Oakland's not a well-run city. There's a reason that 3 professional sports teams left that city. But Oakland and John Fisher and company, the Oakland Athletics, and I still call them the Oakland Athletics. The Oakland Athletics ownership group, John Fisher, they could never come to grips on building something new in Oakland, in the city of Oakland, which would have worked and would have gotten people in the seats had they have built it. And one side was clenching onto their billions, and the other side was also clenching onto their billions. And instead, Rob Manfred, when he said, we're not going to move anybody until there's a proper place to take them, because the split with Oakland was so ugly, they stuck him in a minor league ballpark doing post-game interviews in an aluminum shed, and they're losing 18-3 at home in their home opener with 6,000 people in the stands. That is a disgrace. That is a joke. That is the dumbest thing. You want to talk about why nobody takes baseball seriously? I'll tell you 3 things right now. Number 1, you got 2 professional teams playing in minor league ballparks. That's problem number 1. Problem number 2, we're hearing from every baseball player known to man. What was that opening game? The Brewer game. We're hearing from Rhys Hoskins, and it's the 3rd inning in the middle of the game. Rhys, let's take a timeout on hearing from Rhys Hoskins on opening day in a live game interview. People love it. Fine. We don't need it on opening day. That's the dumbest thing in the world. And number 3, you got one team that's spending $1 billion, and you got one team that's spending $16 million in the Pirates. That is the 3 major problems why baseball has a lot of problems in keeping people interested. Because there is too much discrepancy. There is a discrepancy between playing in Yankee Stadium versus playing in George Steinbrenner Field down in Tampa Bay. There's a reason that is a spring training site. There is a reason that nobody can take when you're playing in a AAA ballpark and you got to play 49 of your first 61 games at home. There's a reason that nobody takes that seriously. There's a reason why nobody does that. There's a reason why the Sacramento A's are not going to put a butt in that seat if they're remotely a bad team for the entire season. There's a reason it's going to be 105 degrees on that field throughout the summer. And the reason that they're not going to play in Las Vegas, and they haven't and that's with no delays, until 2027.
Pretty interesting. They're not called any city.
It's just the Athletics.
Yeah.
I was just about to say that.
3 years they were playing in that godforsaken stadium.
So
3 years.
Huh.
And they're going to be called the Athletics until then, like the Washington football team fiasco. At least Washington had a stadium.
Had a city.
I'd rather have a city and not have a name than
just call
not
them
have a city.
Here's my thing. Just call them Las Vegas. Why?
Yeah. They're not in Las Vegas. I disagree with
That's where you're going.
The Giants aren't in New Jersey. Like, it's fine.
It's where you're going.
Sacramento. Meadowlands is about 9 minutes, no traffic.
Whole other
You
state.
want to know what it is? Colin just doesn't want to go to Vegas. Colin hates Vegas, and he's never been to
I
Vegas.
hate how this was handled because it's a mockery of trying to expand your league. It's a mockery of trying to build your league. It's a mockery of trying to relocate teams. It really is. No, it's a little easier to build arenas for basketball comparatively to well-maintained fields in a gambling city. But the fact that it is not even close to even having any sort of remote progress done is a complete joke. There's a chance that might still fall through. That's why people have a hard time taking baseball seriously. Really. That's why. Because there's no salary cap. There's no guard. You talk about NIL. Baseball is like the Wild Wild West just as much.
Big time.
You get the Wild Wild West with the free agency and the baseball. And you got two teams. Two. Not one. Two. And you can't really control what happened to the Rays with the Tropicana and the Hurricane. So maybe I'd even listen to something there. But with the A's, it was completely avoidable. The Rays is one thing. But the A's, avoidable. That was a joke. That really bothered me.
Colin, you know a lot more about that A's situation than I do. That owner didn't want to be there anymore.
Owner didn't want to be there.
That's what
He didn't want to be
That's
there.
what it came down to.
Now, the city stinks. Oakland is not without fault.
Everyone moved out of there. The
Warriors moved out,
the Raiders.
and the Raiders moved out. So the city stinks. It's a poorly run city. But John Fisher, the owner of the A's, had every opportunity with the billions of dollars he has in the bank. And people want to say, "Oh, these owners are not liquid." They could get liquid. All right, it's not. They don't have the cash assets. They could get it.
Now, you're saying you would have rather just seen a beautiful monstrosity built in Oakland, Colin, than
and they had a nice one in town. It was at Howard Terminal in Oakland, and it's in a better location. Where the Coliseum is not a great location. Traffic hell, the whole thing. But the new one would have been very nice on the water. It would have had some appeal. The city and Fisher could not get into grips with it. They were within like $100 million. But he was looking to leave. He's looking to leave. And it's funny how Manfred is saying, well, the Rays, they got to sell the team. They got to sell the team. Or like or pressure internally for the Rays to sell the team. And none of that, the Sternberger group, the family, the owner of the Rays. But they're not saying that about Oakland, about the A's. They're not saying that at all. And I understand, Oakland, crappy city. There's two sides that are wrong here. But it's a storied franchise. They got 9 titles.
Right.
I know they're in Kansas City. They're in Philadelphia. Fine for the first part of it. But that team won 4 championships in Oakland. They've been to a whole lot more. They won 3 in a row. Went to 4 straight. That I can't take seriously. That was a little stupid. They went to 2 straight World Series in the late 80s. They were great in the early 2000s. It's a storied franchise. Kind of threw it all away. There's my little vent for that. We got to move on. It's Russo and Rizzoni, ESPN 106.3.